Back to Talkers on the Wall. We are here. We have just watched The Odyssey in IMAX 70 millimeter. It was one hell of an experience. Let's talk about Dune. Just joking. We're not gonna do that right now. But a lot of motion with this film, and the whole world is going crazy about it. Anytime Christopher Nolan drops a film, it has this amount of traction behind it. But let's just kind of leave it. We'll start out with ratings. For me, I let it sit. We watched this thing at like 1:30 in the morning, and then I went to work and had some time to think about it. I think I'm going to solidify this as of right now at an 8.3.
I'm giving it an 8. Very solid movie, very good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all the acting, everything. Schmidt?
Yeah, I'm about the same boat. Is that like an 8.2?
Fair. Yeah, no, I thought it was just a very solid movie. It's definitely an above average film.
This will be a full spoiler. We're going to be deep and dive into everything about this movie, so be warned.
Came out 30,000 years ago.
Yeah.
You had enough time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, I think biggest disappointment for me, they didn't play Fiend during a crucial moment in the film's playtime. So,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of drum up, and there's no Fiend.
But
Also, Travis Scott had, like, no lines.
True.
He had, like, 2 scenes. Like, the way that people were bitching and moaning about it, you'd think he'd be, like, a side character.
Yeah, they
who was
bitched
on the
about
boat.
so many actors in this
Yeah.
movie, and anytime that they had a moment to shine, they were, like, perfectly used and not overused.
Yeah.
But I guess let's go into, like, what your favorite moment was, because, like, obviously this is, like, a big, like, journey movie. And, you know, with a lot of political scheming on the back end of it as well. But do you guys have, like, a favorite scene in mind that you, like, kind of think about?
I mean, probably my favorite scene is just at the end when they're all, like, they're doing the trial with the bow.
Yeah.
And then everything that goes on after that. Definitely the ending was my favorite part.
Give me a spear!
Yeah.
The spear!
The shield! Use the shields!
I think my favorite scene would probably be when all the men are in Cersei's, like, hut.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, like, morphing them into, like, the pigs.
Yeah. That is very surreal. I think I'd probably put that at my 2.
We're talking about one.
I'm just validating his pick because it's very good. But I would go the ritual to, like, summon Hades and all the dead soldiers.
That's cool.
Oh my god, dude. That was insane. And, like, you get, like, a lot of development with Sinan. And you honestly, I forget what Robert Pattinson's character's name was.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But
the suitor.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna say, like, the actors' names, it's not like that they couldn't transform into characters, that their names just weren't brought up enough for us to memorize. But yeah, no, Sinan absolutely killed it. Very cool character, and then, like I said, just brought a lot of light to, like, the cowardness of Robert Pattinson's character, and just the insane amount of LARPing. I told Braden, I was like halfway through the movie, I was like, this motherfucker's just Brian Griffin after Peter gets lost at sea.
True. I mean, just everything that he, like, when you find out that he never volunteered to go to the, like, go to the Trojan War, and then he just kept bringing it up.
Goodness.
I could hear Cole laugh every time people he's like, some of us who would have gone.
Yeah.
He's like,
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It's a good bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I mean, literally there's not a whole, like, there's, like, 2 things that I think were wrong with this film. One, I think this is one of, like, Nolan's, like, weakest, like, scripts per se. And like, I wouldn't say it's, like, better than, like, a Prestige, or certainly not better than Oppenheimer or, like, an Inception, Interstellar. Like, from his top tier movies, it's definitely, like, a step down. But, like, there's definitely a lot of highlight moments, especially with Odysseus' like kind of like final speech of when he's like kind of like the hooded man talking to Penelope, and that was like a really good scene. And there's a lot of those, but I just think like bar for bar, it just wasn't like crazy what you expect from a Nolan film.
Mm-hmm.
And then my biggest negative on this movie is that characters, like, there's certain character arcs that feel like just like a tier above bare minimum. Like, it just doesn't feel like a lot of those were like fleshed out. Like I told Smitty, like like movie theaters to like actually have like an IMAX film roll at once, it has to be under 3 hours. It felt like they cut out like an hour and a half of this movie.
Oh yeah.
It did feel like a lot of scenes were rushed. I mean, there was a lot of bits where they're like, we need this scene,
Yeah.
but we just need to get past it because we don't have enough time to.
Exactly.
We don't have enough time to film more.
Like
when Telemachus, when he's like leaving Ithaca, and like they're just like jumping between, like, he's in the castle, he's on the shore, he's on the boat, now they're out to sea.
Yeah.
It all just felt like super super rushed out.
Yeah.
I felt the same way when they like left Troy for the first time too. It was basically just like, oh, we could follow Agamemnon. Nope, let's not do that. Oh, they're lost at sea now.
Yeah.
And then it was just like,
we're taking the scenic route.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, there's an island. Let's raid it.
Yeah.
Okay, we raided it. Nothing really came out of that. They're back on the boat. Oh, there's another island.
Yeah, it's monster runaway for like the first two, and then Cersei's the one where it really like
slows down.
Yeah, and like it's really developed.
I mean, not to say that the Cyclops scene wasn't good, because like when you actually, it was just getting to the Cyclops' island that was like super fast paced. Once you're actually on the island, it does slow back down again, and you're able to like feel the tension and the horror kind of building.
Yeah.
But I think just transport mainly is the biggest thing. They just rush through a lot of the transport.
I honestly wasn't like, I was talking to Smith. I think Smith actually kind of disagreed a bit with me on this, but like I thought the whole like arc with Calypso, is that her name?
Yeah.
I just thought that was like so underutilized. Like I know like Smitty was talking about like the drug of
the lotus flower.
Lotus flower, like how like it was like making you like forget and all that, and I get it, but like it could have felt like so much more of like a moment and like an arc of like him realizing that he's like ready to go home. I just felt like that was not as good as it definitely could have been, especially in like a Nolan classic. That's why I feel like that's like a big part. Like I felt like we could have had 20 minutes of like development on that like arc alone. Because like him realizing like the whole idea of like, I don't know why I don't want to go home, but I just don't. I felt like that could have been like one of those big motors to like really encapsulate his engine to go back home.
And I definitely agree that there needed to be something that like catapults him to like fully need to go home.
Yeah.
But Calypso, I think, filled her role well. And like, I think what there should have been is like when he gave himself to the sea, there should have been something then.
Exactly. That was another big part.
Like
I had
Calypso, like the whole thing of like her falling in love with Odysseus but still allowing him to remember and to like regain himself. I think that was really good. And she was obviously seeing that it was a hard time for him to like begin to remember. And then when he finally because he was still gathering pieces of his boat to like make a raft, and she's like, just give yourself to the sea. Then there should have been something.
Yeah.
I feel like the weakest parts was everything that's not Odysseus. So everything that happened.
I think that if they had done like an extra 20 minutes or like a scene where like he has this culmination of why he doesn't want to go home, or like realizing that he's ready to go home, it would have taken away from his final like monologue with Penelope when we finally get the reason for like why he didn't want to go home. Because that's like basically what the film is all building up to. Like this whole film is one central message, and it's just like the downfall of like society and hospitality through the actions of Odysseus. And so I feel like if we do have that scene with Calliope, then it takes away from like basically the crescendo of the film where he's finally confessing like his sins to Penelope, and he explains why this whole time he hasn't wanted to come home. And then like because it also, I agree that during the film it never felt like there was a moment where he just like decided he was like, I'm ready. It just like felt like he just like finally was like, but it also never felt like he didn't want to go home either. It was just something he kept saying, but his actions never like lent to any
and
credence.
That's kind of like, I cannot believe we're saying this about a Nolan film, but that's kind of like what like bad writing does in a little way. Like the character like has to tell you like, I don't want to go home, like,
right?
And like it just kind of like conflicts with the themes of the movie a little bit.
It also just kind of conflicts with like the themes of, in my opinion, the story overall. Because in the original story, if you've like read it at all, it's been a while. I read it in high school, but it's just basically about a man overcoming the gods to get home.
Yeah.
Where in the movie, their final message is also kind of like give yourself to the gods and accept your punishment. Whereas I feel like the original story of Odysseus is overcoming the gods and persevering, and like, you know, it might take him 10 years, but he never like gave up basically. Another thing with like that kind of felt weird with the Calliope Island is that they just took Calliope and they took the lotus flower and they combined them. Like those two things don't mix in the original story. The lotus flowers are totally separate from Calliope. Calliope is just like this woman who's in love with Odysseus, and she's like magical in some way. I can't really remember in what way, but she does keep him captive on the island. But Odysseus is never like one of those members of the crew who like eats the lotus flower and like goes crazy. So they did just like combine those two things, which for me felt weird during the film.
Yeah. So me and Smith also talked about this too, and this will kind of be like the last negative I have, because like I feel like we should wrap this up, like as far as like our thoughts on the movie, like positively, because I know we kind of like rambled on a little bit being like negative about it, but like low key, I was very disappointed with like how they did the sirens. Like I was like, I just wanted like more of like an impactful moment with them, and like I get that he's like screaming, he's like I just want to hear, like it's like, well, that's stupid. It's smart because it's never been done before. And I was like, okay, like it was cool, and like I was like, oh man, I love the charmed effect, and then they just did pretty much nothing with it.
I mean, it's just how it goes in the story. They just make it through. They put wax in their ears.
Why didn't you tell me? No, I know.
Yeah, there's literally nothing there. It's just a way to show that Odysseus is smart, basically. But I will want to say one thing when I was watching the movie. What I felt was, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but the way that kind of like your complaint of House of the Dragons is that they whitewash Team Black to make them the good guys. They did that a ton for Odysseus. Like, there's a lot of like things in the original story where Odysseus is like, a lot of his troubles come from his arrogance.
Yeah.
Like, for one thing, the Cyclops specifically prays to Poseidon, and he's like, kill Odysseus, because Odysseus, after he blinds him, there's like a bunch of shenanigans that happen, but after he blinds him, he's like, yeah, I'm Odysseus, I'm the man who bested you, basically. And so then the Cyclops is like, Poseidon, kill Odysseus specifically, and then that's when like the seas get all fucked up. And then there's like a lot more confrontation with like Cersei and him being like arrogant and stuff too.
That's so crazy, because like Christopher Nolan was talking about like Guillermo del Toro, like he learned about like a monster isn't just a monster, and like I felt like that type of moment to where like he like curses him out like out loud, like in the final like say, and then him shit talking would add so much more to that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little annoying.
Yeah. So, and then there is a lot more with the like the Cersei stuff. I mean, it was interesting how they did her. I thought it was still like a complex like witch. And I mean, I love witchcraft and the witches stuff in general.
Practically doing that, like turning those real men into pigs, is insane. How does Christopher Nolan get away with this?
No, it like I can't believe like they had to go back. That was the last scene they filmed, because they couldn't turn them back into dudes after they turned them into pigs.
No,
I did really like though that they were showing like Odysseus's like guilt and like sin in like destroying Troy, because like,
my God, that scene is insane.
It's such a great scene, but also I can't remember if they touch on it a ton in the original story. But for any of you musical heads in there, in Epic the Musical, which is basically a musical about the Odyssey, it like compounds upon that, because in the musical he finds the son of Hector, which is the Prince of Troy that Achilles kills. He finds the son of Hector, who's just a baby, basically, and he knows that if he doesn't kill the baby, that like someday he'll like rise back up with an army and come back and like attack Greece, and so he fucking curb stomps the baby, and it like just compounds his like guilt and like sin and all this other crap, and it's very good. So I'm glad that they touched upon it in a different way, where instead of just like it being like a singular act of like this is the ultimate evil, they made it a broad like I destroyed civilization basically by doing this.
No, that show is just genuinely a masterpiece. Like that is like Nolan at his best. Like the amount of aura that like Ganon had too in that
True.
fucking suit, like bro. Oh
Agamemnon was just like a specter of death the whole movie. It was crazy.
And like I want to touch upon that too because I said like the Hades like ritual was kind of like my favorite part. It gave me major like Griffith like when like the God Hand like show like all like the casualties to get to his dream.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely phenomenal there.
How'd you feel about the prophecy word? I know you're a big prophecy guy.
It was cool. Yeah.
Like him getting the advice from like the dead people.
Me and Smith had a little bit of an argument with that. Like, I wish like they weren't like. I wish he didn't like warn him about like the sirens. I know it's in the source material, but like. I was like, I feel like sirens just work so much better when they catch you off guard.
Well, they would all just die.
I mean, you can find a way.
Literally in the warning, he's like, like Hades is like, you go here, sirens kill your men. He goes, well, I won't let that happen. Yeah. Well, then you go here and your men die. Well, I won't let that happen. He's basically just like, I won't let it, and then it still happens.
See, you just won't let it happen. No, but that's fair. But no, I like the.
And plus, he's going to the gods.
Right.
He's going to Hades specifically for his way home. Right. So he's like, you're
Give
gonna
me
go
the
here.
route home.
He's like, you're gonna go here. There's gonna be a fucking crackhead on the corner. You're gonna turn away and not go near him.
Yeah.
Sure, but your homies are gonna be hella thirsty.
Yeah.
I won't let that happen.
I always like the thought of like man's ambition and like desperation like causing like the ultimate defeat of themselves. And, like, them just starving. And they're like, we're not going to kill any goats or anything like that.
True. I did like the scene where he was like, you thought if you ate quietly, the god wouldn't see you? Yeah. They're like, we just thought you wouldn't see you.
Yeah. That mad low, bro.
Yeah. I wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
I wanted you all to live.
True.
Oh, that was a good scene, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did find it surprising.
Dies, like, right afterwards.
Yeah. I did find it surprising that they were all just so willing to get back on the boat. I feel like I would have just stayed on the island at that point. I'm like, I know Apollo is going to kill me. Or Zeus is going to kill me.
Yeah.
And he's have a much better odds of doing that if I get back on that boat.
Hey, man, they're just sailors. They've braved tougher seas.
So, yeah, till Zeus splits their ship in half.
It's true.
You dare to strike me down, Zeus? You ain't got the ball.
True.
But yeah, no, all around, great movie.
Yeah, basically anything we didn't complain about, we liked.
Yeah.
So take that.
And... yeah, we did complain about it quite a bit, but like,
but a movie that is good is a movie that makes you think and things that you'll disagree with.
I know I only touched on it a little bit.
No.
I know I only touched on it.
No.
The Ithaca stuff and like with Tom Holland's character, I feel like that was the weakest part of the movie, and a lot of it could have been cut. Like, he didn't need to go see John Bernthal's character. I don't think he did it at all.
But then he wouldn't have learned about his dad. And we wouldn't have gotten to see Helen of Troy and, like, how, like, the ambitions of man or what, like, ruin the world. Because, like, a big thing is that, like, the Iliad is, like, caused by Helen, and then, like, by going to see John Bernthal, you can kind of see that it was just like man's ambition because they make it a point with like Agamemnon.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Like, so him initially going to see him, sure. Mm-hmm. They did not need to stick around and have that hunting scene where he like explains how his brother died, because they explained it in the exact next scene when when Odysseus goes to Hades.
I mean, there's also just different perspectives on death.
Foreshadowing.
I know it's different.
Yeah. That's foreshadowing.
I get it's different perspectives, but we didn't need to see the full clip, and then and then immediately afterwards another.
I think
it could have cut back and forth, and then it could.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
I liked it. You need the down times to make the up times the more.
But too much down. We could have had more stuff.
But there was no more. They adapted everything.
But we're saying, like, in our opinion, we could have seen like the Calypso stuff being more developed.
Even not, I want like.
I mean, they just changed the Calypso story arc so much that you can't even have it in a way that I feel like is impactful or accurate.
Yeah.
I think...
because part of it...
after watching this...
is that Odysseus starts to, like... because he's so lonely and on this island stuck with Calypso. She already is in love with him. So he just starts to, like, attach to her. And part of it is, like, him, like breaking away from that attachment to finally leave.
Right.
So if they changed the Calypso arc entirely, then sure, I would agree with you.
No, I like...
but by adding
I like the
Lotus
Calypso
flower
stuff. But... I think watching this movie and with all the Greek mythology and everything else, it really makes me want to go back and watch like Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans and
Yeah.
like the Percy Jackson movie.
Go back and watch Troy with Brad
Brad
Pitt.
Pitt.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good movie.
But do we have any closing thoughts?
I liked it. It's not better than Oppenheimer, I don't
No.
think. Does this make top 5?
Well, we won't spoil it.
Yeah.
We'll let it marinate. Top 5 Christopher Nolan films coming out next week.
Drama.
It's definitely a Christopher Nolan movie of all time.
It is definitely one of
It's
them.
not his worst. But I think both aspects of the lane were wrong. It's not his best and it's not his worst. That's for true.
That's crazy. Alright, but yeah, hope y'all enjoy this one and check out the top 5 Christopher Nolan movies coming out
Let
next
us know
week.
what you think.